What's up guys, it's Mr. Piper here, and it's Banlist time. It's finally here, and holy hell has this hit a lot. So we're going to go over it now without further ado. So, newly banned, number 1, Apocryphal Towers. That is now banned. No more Towers Turbo, thank God for that. So that's always good. The other one, or more of them on the list, is Shrit, Strategist of Necros, is also banned. So no more sort of tributing that off with Cycle. That makes Necros a lot worse, and it gets worse further down the list, which I will go into in a minute. El Shaddai Construct has been banned as well. This surprised me so much. Like, I know OCG, I don't know if they got it banned now, but I remember the first time they had it, it was hit to 1. This time they've just gone and they've scratched it completely. Which surprises me, because as much as it was a good deck, it never actually won any massive YCSs recently, in my opinion. From what I know, actually. So I'm surprised they hit it to 1 so drastically, and they hit more as well than just the construct further down the list, which we'll get into. Just going to scroll the laptop down so I can see what else there is. Okay, also banned, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. So I'm not quite sure why this is banned. I actually never used Exciton Knight for the past 6 months roughly, because I haven't owned one, so it doesn't hurt me. But I am surprised why they've hit it. Maybe it's just because it's such a massive blowout and it can swing the game completely to the opponent, possibly, but that surprised me as well. So that's the ban. On to the limited to 1. So Clifford Scout has now gone to 1, so they've just hit Clifford even more, so it's getting even harder to play Stun Clifford. What else have we got? We've got Graph Malabranch of Burning Abyss to 1, so this is basically really shorting on the whole Burning Abyss thing. We've also got Necros of Brionac and Necros of Unicorn at 1. Necros is pretty much dead now. Like, it will still be there, but the consistency of it is going to be nowhere near. You've only got one decent Kaleido play, you've got one Brio to search with, you haven't got Shrit to search the Brio, you haven't got Unicorn to add the Brio back. Necros is preferably not going to be seeing it as consistently as it was for a long time. Carrying on with things at 1, El Shaddai Fusion is at 1 as well, so Shaddai is pretty much dead as well. I mean, no one is going to really want to play the Winder game. I mean, Construct is obviously the best card, and that's gone, so they can't really make that, so I think Shaddai is pretty much gone. What else have we got to 1? We have Reinforcements of the Army has now gone back to 1, which disappoints me a little bit, because I like Rota as sort of a generic card in loads of other decks, but it happens, so Rota's there. So this is obviously going to hurt Tellers, this is going to hurt Heroes a wee bit, and it's going to hurt like other kind of rogue decks that use Rotas as well. So I think that's all on the limiteds. Yep, correct. Okay, so semi-limited, there's only one, which is Sir Malabranch of the Burning Abyss. So another Burning Abyss card that's been hit. So the Duelist Alliance decks have been full-on run over by the Konami Banlist train. Shaddai's are non-existent now. I don't think you can play them competitively at all. Tellers are okay. I mean, you can't search the Neb now that well. You only have the one Rota, but they can still be played. Necros are gone in my opinion. BA is very, very, very slowed down. It will still be playable, but so slowed down. So this is quite a massive list. And then finally onto things that are now at 3. Chaos Sorcerer is back to 3, which is cool, Chaos decks. 6 Samurai Shien is at 3, which is fine because 6 Samurais had it at 2, they can go back to 3. Spellbook of Fate is back to 3. This is good. This means Spellbooks have had a little bit of a push. But although I don't think it's going to be too much at the moment, but we'll see, who knows. And then Gear, the trap, has gone back to 3. So, right, let's have a look at this. From what I've said, Shaddai's gone, Necros gone. Those decks are, in my opinion, completely out of the water. You won't see them competitively. Tellers, still playable, just not as consistent. BA, not as playable at all, but can be played. And I'm sure there'll be a little list which will allow BA to be played. So, let's have a look at what this also holds for other decks that are now going to be maybe that were at tier 2 or the bottom of tier 1. They have now become so much better. So, first one that comes to mind is Cosmo. Obviously they're going to push Cosmo all the way forward. This is now probably the best deck, Cosmo. It's got everything, it's super good, and it's now the money set. It's probably the new Necros of the TCG. It's a ridiculously good archetype that's just going to get more support in the future. So in my opinion, this is going to be the new #1 deck. Which is annoying because I wanted to play it sort of just as Cosmos because I like them, but you know, I'll still play it, but everyone will be playing it as well. What else we have? Yang Zing. So hear me out on this. Yang Zing haven't had anything hit, but with everything that basically gave them problems, they are now so good, and Cosmos struggle with Yang Zing. So this is going to be a really good answer to Cosmos. Yang Zing have lost nothing, they float like hell, they synchro, they bounce your stuff, they can main floodgates, ridiculously good. What else is there? So we've got Magispectors and we have Gradle coming out. So Gradle, I'm not sure that's going to be doing much, only because their stuff targets to snatch your stuff, and we're obviously going to see a lot of Cosmos running about, so that's not going to be doing a lot. And then there's Magispectors, which are very consistent, very good, allow you to search very good traps, very good spells, and allow you to pendulum. But again, weak stats which are compared to Cosmos. So Cosmo, again, it seemed like to be the big thing. What else have we got? Clownblade. Okay, so hear me out on this one as well. Clownblade is, the only thing they've actually lost in this list is Exiton. And people may say, oh, but they needed Rota. Not really, because the Clownblade engine ran 3 Heroic Champion Halberd and 1 Thousand Blades. And Halberd recruited everything. If you ran more than 1 Rota in a Clownblade engine, it's very possible that you would just have it brick anyway, because you will already have enough Halberds or the Thousand Blades in your grave. So the one there is fine. So I think Clownblade is a really good contender as well. So let's think of other decks that could come back. Obviously the 2 other things that have been put on there are Spellbook of Fate and Gear. So Gear and Spellbooks are very consistent decks. Very consistent. However, I do think that the power creep that's coming along now, even with the new cards, is just going to surpass them. It's not going to matter very much. So as much as I like to see these decks make a comeback, I doubt they will do anything, you know, amazing. It'll be nice to see them. You may see them like a one-off top 64 or maybe a top 32, depending if there's a good player playing it. But otherwise, I don't think they're gonna, you know, stay there that much. Let me see, what else is there? So I'm really surprised by this list. I mean, like, I knew it was going to happen. They were going to eventually push out the era of Duelist Alliance. I did say that in one of my videos, that there is now going to be the new era, which is going to be Cosmos and whatever comes of that as well. But I am surprised of how strongly they hit everything. They destroyed Shadow and Necros, absolutely destroyed it. Those decks are definitely not competitive anymore. They are now tier, well, Necros is probably tier 2, 3 maybe, and Shadow is tier 3. Like, it's you may disagree, but it does not, having those cards being hit, it does not have the power at all. You will not see it in competitive play anytime soon. Another deck that has just come to mind that I thought that did not see anything hit, and is going to be another contender for the best deck as well, Infernoids. It had nothing hit on the list. It is getting an absolute ride on the hype train at the moment, along with Cosmos. I'd say Infernoids is probably the deck that's on that train next to Cosmos, and Infernoids is a solid deck. It banish your stuff, has effect negation, spell and trap negation, inherent summoning, massive boss monsters, the ability to spam big synchros and Xyz. Really good deck, and that had nothing hit. So I think the main thing you'll see is Infernoids, Cosmo, and then you'll see the odd thing like Clownblade, Yang Zing, bits like that, Magispectors, anything like that. So unfortunately, guys, the new meta is upon us. Shadow and Necros, BA, Tellarknight, bye-bye. Cleefort, bye-bye. Unfortunately, your time has come, and it's now time to move on, I'm afraid. It's a sad time, but, you know, as Yu-Gi-Oh goes, it happens. Dragon Ball suffered the same. Mermail sort of suffered the same, except Mermail was a victim of the power creep. But, as we see, these cards sometimes do come back in the future. So, keep hold. If you want to keep hold of those Shadows for when you do want to play them again, do it, put them in a tin. I'm sure they'll be back at some point when we have something ridiculously broken. and it will make the Shadows look like nothing. So that's my discussion on the ban list, guys. I like it and don't like it. I like it because it moves on the next support coming out, the new stuff. I don't like it because I've had to say basically goodbye to one of my favourite decks, being Shadow. I had to say goodbye to basically a meta game for 6 months that I've been very comfortable with and being very varied. And I do think that the meta coming up is going to be quite 1 or 2 deck based, unfortunately. I think Cosmos is going to have its reign in the TCG. OCG, I think everyone should look to there and see what decks are there at the moment. And with this as well, we've also got to learn how we're going to use new cards coming out in Break of Shadows and Dimensions of Chaos, such as Cyber Infinity. What's going to be in store for those cards now we haven't got the decks that they were going to be put in. So there's a lot to think about. I've been Mr. Piper. Subscribe to the channel here and let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, give it a subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take care, guys. Have a good one.